As a gay man, I was turned away from donating blood.
As a bisexual man, I can't donate blood.
As a gay trans male, I cannot donate blood.
Word that homosexuals may be prevented from donating blood has spread quickly through the gay community.
That if a man has had gay sex in the past 30 years, that he can never give blood.
30
never.
years?
30 years.
Now sounding the alarm about a shortage of blood donations.
Everyone who donates blood is tested for HIV. So this is outdated and it stigmatizes gay and bisexual men.
As we suffer a tremendous need right now, it's hard to understand why a major part of our population still can't donate blood.
As a physician and a gay man, I myself have been restricted from donating blood, and I see the effects of a blood shortage every single day I step in the hospital. Up until now, gay and bisexual men must defer from sexual contact with other men at least 3 months prior to donating blood.
Prior to transitioning, I was able to donate blood, but since transitioning, I have not been able to donate blood because I am a gay trans male.
In April of 2020, after being cleared by multiple screenings, I was accepted as a candidate for donating my blood and plasma, having recovered from COVID-19 with a high antibody count, and I was eager to help. But I was rejected at the blood center simply because I let it slip that I was a gay man.
Ever since I finished cancer treatment, I made a promise to myself that I would donate blood as often as possible, and I did until the beginning of quarantine, and I came out.
In 2023, the FDA proposed revising its policy to allow some gay and bisexual men to donate blood, moving away from the 40-year blanket policy for men who have sex with men. The first restriction was created in 1983 when the prevalence of HIV was higher among gay and bisexual men, and this was a lifetime ban.
When AIDS was first discovered more than 2 years ago, it was sometimes called the gay plague.
Some doctors believe that 50% of the gay population is walking around with the AIDS virus.
At this point, Irwin Memorial Blood Bank does not ask donors about their sexual preference before accepting blood, but all this could change because of the possible link between AIDS, blood transfusions, and gay men.
When this ban was first put in place, this was a very different time from what it is now. For example, there was a lack of testing. In fact, the first test wasn't approved for the diagnosis of HIV until 1985.
It's highly labor intensive. It takes a lot of time. It can only be done by technologists.
During the 1980s, when there was a lack of testing and overall education of the virus, there was a very real risk of transfusion-related infection among patients who received blood products. And since HIV prevalence was higher among gay and bisexual men, this ban was put in place to protect against HIV transmission during blood donations.
The idea of banning all male homosexuals from donating blood meets with resistance here at Irwin Memorial Blood Bank. Staff has added 3 extra questions to its checklist to rule out high-risk candidates.
This policy was in place up until 2015 when the FDA revised the indefinite lifetime ban to a 12-month deferral period.
The Food and Drug Administration is recommending dropping a lifetime ban on blood donations from gay and bisexual men.
But there's a catch. Donors would have to avoid having sex for at least 1 year prior.
A deferral period would allow gay and bisexual men to donate blood if and only if they abstain from sexual encounters with other men for a minimum of a 12-month period. The deferral period was put in place to accommodate the window period for HIV.
And the window period is this period of time when somebody could have become infected, but our testing technology cannot detect it.
In April of 2020, the FDA revised the restrictions on gay and bisexual men from donating blood, decreasing the deferral period from 12 months to 3 months. This applies regardless of HIV status and also to gay and bisexual men who are in monogamous relationships. This applies also to transgender men and anyone who identifies as a male.
For years now, the blood community has advocated for FDA to look at a change in their policy for men who have sex with men.
Many dispute this restriction because it focuses on sexuality rather than sexual behavior and is stigmatizing and discriminatory.
Gay or bisexual men are no different than heterosexual men or women or anyone else who could be carrying HIV. It will be detected in the testing.
The Food and Drug Administration regulates what infectious disease testing blood centers have to perform. There's more than a dozen different infectious diseases that blood centers test every single unit of donated blood for. HIV is one of the ones that we test for.
In 2020, researchers launched a study assessing whether individual risk factors could be a better way to check if gay and bisexual men were eligible to donate blood.
What we're trying to do with this study is collect data that will be presented to the FDA, in which we are enrolling men who have sex with men and asking them to complete a test set of questions that might one day be on a future donor history questionnaire that may be used to distinguish individuals who have recently acquired HIV from those who do not have HIV. So trying to move from a blanket deferral for all men who have sex with men to something where an individual evaluation might be possible.
In 2022, this data was submitted to the FDA, and after review, the FDA announced a proposal that would ease restrictions on blood donations from gay and bisexual men, instead adopting a risk-based screening approach to all individuals who donate. Now, if this is approved, it would allow many more men to donate blood and could save countless lives.
If the FDA were to change its policy and rely on individual risk-based assessments to qualify donors, I would absolutely donate.
I would like to be able to help.
I'd donate blood. I'd go back to donating as often as I could.